You ever have one of those days where you look at your land, the same stretch of ground your families walked for generations, and realize someone's just declared war on everything you believe in? Because that's exactly how this story kicks off. I'm talking bright red signs, padlock chains, and a Queen Bee HOA president with a lavender cardigan and an iPad, hell-bent on turning my birthright into a private fiefdom. Yeah, that happened. Right here at Thorns Ridge, my family's hops farm, where the real treasure isn't the acres of green or the river glinting in the morning sun. It's the old supply line, a dirt road older than most of the trees around here, and a lifeline my granddad carved out 50 years back, long before anyone ever thought to slap stucco and a mailbox on top of good farmland. You want to know what that road's carried? Everything. I mean, everything. First irrigation pipes, the party for my folks' wedding, even the old man's casket when we laid him to rest under that big juniper up on the hill. And every harvest, when the September air gets that edge of autumn and the hops are sticky and full, heavy trucks roll in for maybe 3 weeks, just doing their job. The rest of the year, the supply line is nothing but a dusty scar in the weeds, a memory running parallel to the creek, ignored by everybody who's not from around here. We never asked anyone's permission because we didn't need to. This was farm country before Silver Creek Estates ever broke ground. The farmhouse sits just outside the HOA boundary, but the supply line cuts through this wild patch near their stormwater retention pond, a swampy afterthought on their fancy subdivision maps. And that, my friend, is exactly where the trouble started about 10 years back, when the Silver Creek HOA went from a bunch of bored volunteers to a fully funded, power-tripping operation with their own management company, and Vivian Sterling at the helm. Now, picture this. Vivian, queen of the cul-de-sac, all tight blonde hair, crisp lavender cardigans, and that death grip on her iPad like she's about to send a drone strike. She'd been HOA president for 6 years, but her real weapon wasn't authority. It was fatigue. Most people, they just get too tired to fight. They'll pay the fines, skip the meetings, hope the drama blows over. Me? I just kept farming. Watched the hops climb, ignored the noise. Until one perfect harvest morning, walking the supply line with my coffee, I spotted it. This sign, blazing red, staked deep in the earth like a warning flare. HOA private access. No commercial traffic. For a second, I just stood there numb. That road wasn't theirs. Never was. I'd patched every damn pothole myself, year after year. Then I hear her, the telltale whir of Vivian's golf cart, cresting the rise like some kind of parade marshal. She doesn't wave, doesn't smile, just gives me that tight look, the one that says, "You're a problem I'm here to solve." And out of her mouth comes, "You can't run your trucks through here anymore, Jasper. No, please. No, let's talk." Just a verdict and a printed letter to make it official. I try to stay calm, military discipline, you know. "Vivian, this road was here before your HOA even had bylaws." She doesn't miss a beat. "Should have paved it then." She reverses, gone in a puff of dust. Next morning, they've chained it off. Not some cheap hardware store special, either a thick, rusty coil padlock between 2 brand new posts. She'd hired someone to put it in overnight. First harvest truck rolls up, driver scratching his head, my crew's just standing there, waiting for me to make sense of the mess. I had to send everyone home. Every day, the hops set meant lost money, lost time, risk of losing the whole crop. That night, staring at the padlock in the moonlight, I felt that old burn in my chest, the kind you get not from fighting City Hall, but from going up against someone with nothing better to do than ruin your life. But you know what? I've rebuilt bases in war zones. I've driven convoys through places where you watch for landmines. I wasn't about to let a suburban warlord with a clipboard take my family's legacy. I went digging in the barn, found the land papers, maps, everything my dad ever filed with the county. Buried in the mess, the original pre-subdivision easement, legal proof that the supply line was my access in black and white, long before the HOA was even an idea. I scanned it, emailed it to Jerome Keller, the slowest, crankiest land use attorney this side of the Rockies. 2 hours later, he shoots me back. "You're in the clear. Their signs are nothing but empty threats. Be careful. They'll try to escalate." And boy, did she. 3 days later, $250 fine, unauthorized commercial staging, because my grain trailer was parked in my own field. That's when I realized it wasn't about the road. It was about me, the stubborn holdout who never showed up to the meetings, never played nice, never fit her community aesthetic. So I head over to see Mac, my neighbor 4 doors down, ex-cop with a taste for root beer. He just whistles when he sees the fine, shakes his head. "You're next on our list, bud. Call Sheriff Dax." Dax, my old logistics buddy from the Army, now county sheriff. I fire off an email, not as a complaint, but as a reconnection. Attach the HOA notices the deed, an old photo of us sharing bad coffee overseas. His reply comes quick. "I remember that road. You got time at 4. Next afternoon, county building, Dax greets me the way only vets do. Quick hug, hard pat on the back, eyes searching for the real story. I lay out the paperwork. He taps the easement with his pen, says, "You're in the right. But Vivian's not going to roll over." He wasn't wrong. She upped the ante, traffic cones, plastic fencing, new signs about farm vehicles being towed. She even listed a towing company, but when I called the guy, he was mortified, said she'd lied about her authority. The sign stayed up. Then came the concrete. I woke up Monday to find the whole road chained off again, only now with steel cable and a concrete post poured fresh, rebar sticking out like the world's angriest keep-out sign. On top of it, a laminated notice, $500 fine for continued misuse of shared infrastructure. That was it, the final straw. I stood there, watching my trucks idle, my workers shuffled off, crops at risk, feeling like every ounce of sweat my father and grandfather poured into this land was about to wash away with the next rain. And that rain came. Sky turned heavy, gray as old tin, drumming on the barn roof, water seeping into the fields while the hops started to rot. My crew was gone, except for Miguel, who stuck around out of loyalty but finally had to leave to help his cousin. The barn felt bigger and emptier with every drip. I just sat, alone, listening to money and memories dissolve into mud. And what does Vivian do? Sends me another fine, $7.50, this time for soil erosion concerns. Yeah, she was fining me for damage her own blockade caused. You ever been so mad you just laugh? That was me. 4 days of misery. And then I hear engines, not trucks this time, but county vehicles. Dax steps out, big black SUV, court order in his hand. "Get your gear ready," he tells me, dead serious. Judge issued an emergency injunction. HOA barriers come down today. Behind him, 3 county bulldozers roar to life, shaking the ground. Vivian standing there, arms crossed, lips tight, golf cart abandoned like a busted toy. She tries to block the dozers, tries to hand Dax some lawyer's letter. He doesn't blink. "Ma'am, step back. This is a court order." She finally cracks, lets out a sound like a wounded animal, but there's nothing she can do. The first dozer rolls forward, steel blade smashing the concrete post to pieces. Cable snaps, signs come down, and just like that, the road is open, wide, undeniable, finally mine again. Neighbors start to gather. Mac, Cheryl, folks I barely know, standing in the mist, watching the bulldozers finish what years of arguments couldn't. When the last chain drops, they start clapping. Not wild, but that deep, grateful sound people make when they see justice, real justice, in their own backyard. County crews even laid down new gravel, regrade the ditch, put up reflectors. For the first time ever, the supply line isn't just a rumor or a favor. It's official, marked on the county map as a historic agricultural route. Vivian? She just stands there by her golf cart, face slack, watching her world slip away. There's a difference between anger and defeat. She looked defeated. And then, twist of fate, 2 days later, a petition hits every Silver Creek doorstep. Recall Vivian Sterling. Abuse of power, unauthorized construction, harassment. By the 3rd day, the board schedules its first real community meeting in years. One Vivian can't run herself. I sit in the back, watching her try to control the narrative. My lawyer Keller stands up, calm as stone. Judge already ruled. Road's not under review. Obstruction was illegal. Vivian tries to protest, but the board finally finds its spine. This meeting belongs to the community, one says quietly. And just like that, she's done. Suspended. She sells her house, disappears, no goodbye, just a for sale sign and a golf cart with a dead battery. First good rain after, I sit on the porch, boots up, coffee in hand, watching the water soak the fields. Not just open land, but respected land. Neighbors bring out a real wooden sign, thorn supply line, historic route. Nail it up themselves. 2 months later, we throw the first Silver Creek harvest homecoming on that road. Neighbors bring casseroles. The high school band plays. Laughter and music swirl around like a second harvest. Dax shows up, out of uniform, leans in and says, "You ever wonder why I brought 3 Dozers?" I grin. Overkill. He laughs. She screamed louder than one could handle. We both lose it, the kind of laugh that feels like coming home. See, this isn't just a story about a stubborn farmer or a power-mad HOA president or even a road. It's about standing your ground, about knowing that silence isn't the same as peace, about remembering the truth is always worth fighting for, even if it takes a bulldozer or 3. The harvest will come again. The land will remember who stood tall, and so will I. But what about you? Ever have to fight like hell just to protect something simple and true against an HOA, a council, or maybe just some busybody neighbor? Did you win, or did you have to let it go? Drop your story in the comments, because I promise you're not alone, and sometimes just knowing that is enough to keep going. Like and subscribe if you want more tales of ordinary folks standing up for what's right, because honestly, those are the stories that keep this old world honest.